Interesting story. Rob G, I want you to explain this about the Bills general manager and what's going on with the vaccinations and all of that.
Right. So Brandon Beane is their general manager. And you know that the Buffalo Bills famously a few weeks ago said that they would require a vaccination to attend their game. So they're very pro COVID-19 vaccine in Buffalo. Well, their general manager was in an interview and they asked, hypothetically, would you cut an unvaccinated player if it meant that you could, in fact, get more practice time, more in-person meetings, which is the incentive the NFL has offered.
Right.
And he said flat out, yes, I would, because that is an advantage. These meetings were not as productive as before because you guys saw in the field house, we had 3 or 4 meetings going on. And sometimes you're talking over each other, but it was the only way to pull it off and be socially distanced. It would be an advantage then to cut a player and fall under that umbrella. So I guess the easy question, guys, is do you think that kind of thing is fair going forward?
The only thing I'm going to say is the only way I say it's fair is if the work rules work for everybody. If the work rules aren't the same for everybody, then no, I'm against it. If you say we need everybody in here, if I'm running a restaurant and I have a kitchen, and I say in order to work at this 5-star restaurant, the Masonette that used to be in Cincinnati, I think they closed down, great food. If you want to work at the Masonette, you got to be vaccinated. And then people have a right to, say they don't want to be vaccinated or move on. But the star chef can say, well, I'm not going to get vaccinated, and you allow him to not get vaccinated, and you get rid of somebody who's the setup guy or who's setting up the salads or whatever. That's not fair. It's either across the board for everybody or it's open for everybody.
Well, that's why I can't work in pro sports. You're right. It could work in a restaurant, your barber shop, although maybe you got a star barber. But, those types of business is fine. Look, if Josh Allen and Rob G, didn't Josh Allen come out and say he at least was questionable? He was questioning whether or not he was going to get the vaccine.
Yeah, he said
right?
on the Kyle Brandt podcast that he was unsure at this point. This was last month if he would get the vaccine.
Right. So you can't make that type of blanket statement when you're running a football team or a basketball team. Rob, I don't know if LeBron's gotten the shot. There was a report that Dennis Schroeder, who appears to have COVID because he's out for 2 weeks, there's a report, I don't know if it's true or not, but that he said he and LeBron are the only players on the team that didn't get the shot. And LeBron certainly has not endorsed getting the shot. I don't know if he's taking it or not, but obviously I'm not cutting LeBron James. Quinn Cook, bye. But LeBron, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, no. So to me, Rob, that's what this is going to come down to. If there's a guy that's a role player, a special teams guy, he can be replaced. He's the 51st man on the squad or something like that. He doesn't take it. He doesn't get vaccinated. They may that could be the final straw. It's just like if a guy in that position doesn't go to the voluntary workouts and somebody else right behind him does go. They may say, you know what? This guy wants it. He'll do whatever it takes.
What if you're in a situation where a coach had cancer or has some other issues, or there are other players who have kids who have issues, where it's like, well, we need to figure out what we're going to do here because I can't have a chance of this, being transmitted to my family if there are people in the locker room. I'm just saying there's a lot of issues that come about. Right. And what if that guy's a star running back or that guy's Stephon Diggs I'm just hypothetical, of course, where he has an issue, right? And his quarterback's saying, I'm not getting it, but I got a grandmother at home or a mother at home or somebody else. I think it's a slippery slope. To me, I hear your point. Yeah. I hear your point about a star and a scrub, but what if there's 2 stars and one is saying, I mean? Like, what do you do, Chris?
Well, I think that I think this is similar to how it is for every American for the most part. It's not just about you, right? You have to take other people into consideration. Like, if I didn't want to I'm going to see my parents this weekend for the first time since August. because I didn't want to be around them at their age if they got it.
No, because
and
you
now
don't want
I've
to put
been
them
vaccinated.
at risk, Chris, right? You don't want to put them at risk.
Absolutely. So if I didn't get vaccinated, maybe I would be like, you know what? I'm still not going to go see them. Or I'm going to say I'm going to get vaccinated so I can go see them. So I think it's a stick. You're right. That's an interesting question you threw out there. That if you got 2 stars.
Am I right? If you got 2 stars on separate sides.
Right.
And somebody's got a parent or a child or something, and that was the thing with Haskins, right? In Washington. Ron Rivera's a cancer survivor, Chris.
Right.
He's out of the strip club, no mask, tossing dollar bills.
That had a lot to do with, it wasn't just, you're out here acting recklessly.
No, right.
It was, that
you're putting Ron Rivera's health in question.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's it's not a black and white situation.
No,
and I think that's why the league has not, Rob, come down with a blanket rule that everybody's got to get vaccinated. But you just got to try to do your homework.
Do this? Let me ask you this, Chris. Do you have 2 locker rooms? Do you have
know
2
what?
locker rooms?
That's not. If I had 2, they're obviously going to still be in contact. But let's face it, you went through a whole season last year where there was no vaccination and dudes still played. So you could do that. Meetings, you're still going to meet in some ways. You wouldn't be able to meet in person,
but you see
I
what
guess.
I'm saying, though,
you
right?
meet by Zoom.
But maybe you split the locker room and vaccinated and non-vaccinated.
Because if you got 2 stars, Rob, then you do what you got to do. Right.
That might work.
Yeah, you would explore that. All right. Do you think it would be fair if a team cut a player for not being vaccinated?
All right, Robert in Georgia, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
What's going on, Chris and Rob? How y'all doing?
What's
good.
Up, man?
Yeah, I just want to say I definitely think it's very unfair. I work at a Division I school. I won't say what. I'm a sports medicine doctor, and I think that it's very unfair because we don't know the side effects of this vaccine is going to have, especially to ask people that aren't at risk. I understand older people, but you're asking people that just come in the league 20, 21 years old to take this, and we don't know the long-term effect of this. And to have them to be at risk for this for no apparent reason, I don't think that's fair at all.
Now, Robert, let me ask you this. I think that's fair, what you just said. But what about the people who have loved ones and children at home and parents
older
who you might be putting them at risk, even though you're young and healthy, and if you get it and pass it on to a teammate? Where's your concern for them?
Well, I have 2 things to say with that. For one is that the vaccine doesn't guarantee that you're not going to get it. So, because we have a couple of actually kids that took the vaccine and they still tested positive.
Right, it just lessens the impact.
Nothing's 100%,
like the flu
you
shot.
not having a vaccine, the chances are you could get it.
Where are you at on it? You're a sports medicine doctor, so obviously you've got a little more knowledge than we do in this field. So where are you at on the vaccine? Like, you sound like you may not have taken it. You sound kind of skeptical about it.
No, I haven't taken it. And there's 2, the Johnson & Johnson and the Pfizer one. But they're sold. The Johnson & Johnson just had a recall, and then the Pfizer, they say research says it's good, but like I said, they haven't released the long-term effect of these things. And like I said, you don't want to be a situation where you give a healthy kid something that's going to have long-term effects down on the end of the situation that can just cause a downfall all the way to the end of his life when he gets 50 and 60.
What did you make of all the people who died during the pandemic?
I think it's definitely a tragedy. I just think that you should just give them the option to opt out again, like not to come back. Like a lot of players last year didn't come back.
No, that's fair.
That's a good call.
That's fair. If you say you
Rob,
don't have to play and opt out, that's fair.
That's a good call. All I know, Rob, I took the Johnson & Johnson shot. All of a sudden, I'm bench pressing 350 pounds.
Is that what it is?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, right. Those are the side effects.
My wife is a doctor. She took it. Now, we do have another friend who's a doctor
who didn't
take it. Yeah. Right. So, look,
everybody's different. Nobody,
right.
Chris, we can't get 100% on anything. Can we? Come on.
Not in this day and age.
My mom
I don't shame people on either side.
No. I always want to make sure, like when people are talking about what could be effects of other people, later on, Chris, which I totally respect, what about the effects on people who are living now? That's my other flip side. Let's not act like it's only about, well, what's going to happen down the road. What's happening now? Isaac, in California, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. And we've lost some friends, Chris. You know what I'm saying? So it stings. It stings.
It's real. This thing is real. Yep.
Isaac.
Did
we lose Isaac?
Yeah, I guess we lost him.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we got him. Isaac. Yep, now we can.
Hello, guys. Thank you for taking my call again. I'll make this. I'll try to make it as quick as possible. I'm half black, half Mexican. I've taken both shots of the Moderna vaccine, and so has my wife. My wife is half black, half Persian, and we feel very comfortable. We both didn't receive any symptoms. However, I don't think it's fair for people to act, for businesses, specifically the NFL, to require vaccinations, because you don't know, every player's home situation is different. However, this could be a possible situation for like a fight between the NFLPA and the NFL, because what if the owners require a vaccination? And if it's one of those things where
if the owners went that route, I do think the NBPA or the National Football League Players Association would fight against it.
It's funny because they don't fight against anything else. So that would be interesting, Chris.
That's a good call, though.
As the weakest union going. No, I'm just saying.
But don't you think, Rob, they would? I mean, do you think they wouldn't?
I don't know. I'd have to see from the baseball union.
It really depends on how many players
anything, Chris,
don't want to do it.
Without the players agreeing to it anyway. You know what I mean? In baseball, you go to the players first. You don't even go to the league. Because if the players aren't having it, guess what? It ain't happening.
Right.
Mark in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on, Mark? Guys? And good job trolling me, Alex.
My guy.
Hey, real quick. The previous caller kind of stole most of what I was going to say. This comes down to two separate rights: the rights of the corporation, the team, or whatever, and the individual rights. And that's negotiated if you have a union. So I was about ready to say that. But if it comes down to it in my corporation, they instituted that we had to have it, and it went across, and our union kind of agreed with it. So I had to get one. Guess what? Because they agreed to it, if I don't want to take it, I have to now decide, do I want to keep my job, or do I want to get that shot?
Right.
Mark,
that's what
comes
down to it, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
right. That's what I was saying.
There are people of all races who are skeptical of the shot. But, you know, with African Americans, it goes back to some of the historic things like the Tuskegee experiment, things like that. So you're, as an older black man, how do you feel about it? Like, because you remember Tuskegee even more so than me and Rob.
I do, and this is how I feel about it. I just heard this young gentleman come on. He said he's a sports medicine doctor. Well, I listened to Dr. Fauci, who got us through Ebola, HIV, and SARS. I trust him more than I trust some sports doctor. And so if they tested it, they took it, they tested it.
Right.
I trust it. I can tell you guys now, I buried my brother. That wasn't a relative. I buried him in August.
Man.
I got my second shot Saturday. I'm like you, Rob. I got my second one Saturday.
Well,
I didn't have any after effects, but I felt a little tired. So I took
that's
it.
all I felt. I feel tired compared to normal.
Do your homework would be my advice. Do your homework. Don't listen to politicians. Listen to doctors. I don't even listen to
all these
politicians
people
about politics.
And Mark, on the internet, there's a lot of misinformation, man. They make it look so real, and people buy into it. You got to be very, very careful. That's all.
Go ask your doctor.
Yep.
All right, good call, Mark.